All right. Here with Kody Pasqualichio. Welcome to the Locals Only podcast.
Thank you for having me.
Yeah, man. I'm glad you were able to make it up because I know
Yeah.
you're living in Philly now, which let's just dive right into it. You are like the man of the hour in Philly, outside of the other man of the
I
hour.
was gonna say if there's a second one, it's definitely me. Right
Yeah,
now.
you're the best man. So Kody, you've been hosting the Bachelor Watch Parties at Urban Saloon in Philly, and getting a lot of press lately. Well deserved. I mean, I know you put in a lot of effort into all the events that you're doing and everything like that. So let's get the rundown on what you got going on down there.
Yeah. So I started off doing trivia there. I live across the street from there, so I was pretty much the one that kept the lights on at that place.
Mm-hmm.
I do some watch parties for like big playoff games, whether it's the World Series or the Eagles in the playoffs. They have like a back room. And then, I was trying to get in with the trivia. I finally did. And then when this happened with Joey and I are obviously great friends from college. The owner came up with this idea. I'm really close with him and came up with this idea for a watch party. And I would say the first couple weeks, my social media has a decent following. The bars has a decent following. But then the use of social media with people actually at the event, it just took off.
Yeah.
I put a TikTok out there, I'd say about 4 weeks now. And then last week, a girl put, it's kind of bashes how it's a little bad on Joey's part because it was a reaction video of who he didn't pick.
Mm-hmm.
Everyone in Philly was a big fan of that girl. So I even asked him too. I was like, are you okay that video's out? But it got like national attraction. It's on E! News.
Damn.
It's I mean, obviously not like their news thing, but all throughout their social media.
Mm-hmm.
And then these Philly articles, newspapers, all these people are like coming in now, and it's crazy.
Everybody wants to talk to you.
It's crazy.
I'm like,
Yeah.
I'm glad we had a little relationship before you started popping off here. Good,
Right.
get you the drive 2 hours up here to
Yeah, I
shoot
never
the shit
thought
here.
I'd say out loud that I'm doing bachelor watch parties, but and it's funny because people ask, they're like, obviously you're doing it because of Joey,
Yeah.
but do you see yourself doing there? Because there's the Bachelorette, there's the Golden Bachelor now, the Golden Bachelorette. I don't think I have a choice. Like,
I know, you
if
kinda got
Urban's
a
okay
thing
with
going.
it, I'm gonna have to.
Yeah. Yeah. It'll be interesting to see if the demand is still there. Obviously, I think I wonder how much of the crowd knows your connection to him and that entices them also. But now it's like sometimes it just takes a life of its own, like you
For
said,
sure.
and you might just have started
And
created a monster.
And he's from there too. So
Right.
like he's
Lots
from
of
the
Philly
Collegeville
ties.
area. He's a great guy. Everyone loved him when he was on The Bachelorette, and he's being that same person right now. So it's I always say too, they're saying that he's the turnaround of the show, which I do believe so. Everyone loves him, but he's not going to be the Bachelor every season.
Right.
So like you have to like now think we need someone that's Joey level because he is one of the best, if not the best.
Yeah, and like you could only do so much. Well, I guess like the vetting process for them is getting a little bit easier now because you have more sample size. Like you get to see them on the Bachelorette first, so it's like okay, like you kind of get a feel for who America likes from their perspective.
Yep.
But yeah, as much as you didn't think you would be doing Bachelor watch parties, I didn't think the 8th episode of this podcast would be somewhat focused around the Bachelor.
So true.
But like we were chatting when everything kind of came out, and you were saying how like you might be on the opening episode, like when they were giving Joey's backstory and everything. So then Krista was going to be watching anyway, so I'm like, all right, let me check this thing out. And like obviously I've seen The Bachelor before, but it's not my cup of tea particularly.
Me neither.
But no, he makes it very watchable. And like I was like trying to remove the connection. Like obviously I never met him or anything, but like just knowing that you know him, and I'm like, all right, Cody's a normal guy. He's probably a normal guy if they're college buddies or whatever. I was trying to remove that like bias going into it and just be like, would I think he was like this like cool normal guy if I didn't know that he was for sure? And I think like after watching a couple episodes, like I am somewhat ashamed to admit I am somewhat invested into this season.
You're not alone.
And no, he just seems like a really good like down to earth normal dude.
Yeah.
And I feel like like the show is going that way. Obviously, like there's there's the antics, like they have to spice things up early on and like get some of the craziness in there and then out of there. But I think to your point, like where like he's turning the show around, maybe, I think America might be demanding a bit more from the show and like a little bit more normalcy where it's like, it's just cool to see like 2 or like 25, I guess, normal people kind of working through their shit.
Yep.
It's interesting.
Yeah. There was a lot of girls this season. I think it was the most they've ever had.
Oh, really?
So I say that's why we weren't on the first episode. We were brutal. Like we were terrible. I have a high top in Philly. So Joey, myself, and 3 others, we sat down, and it has a great view of the city. There's a camera guy going around, and like I've never been in front of a camera before. And if I want to get on Survivor, like it's never gonna happen, but you never know. But it was intimidating, and it was really cool to see how comfortable he was. Because at that point, he only did the Bachelor didn't air yet, or he didn't film it yet. So like the camera would like come behind me, and I'm like hiding around, and it wasn't staged. Like people always wonder about that stuff, and it really wasn't. Yeah. You know, they kind of just let like kind of like this, you know, you let the conversations flow, and it was intimidating, and I guarantee they left saying we're not going to use any of that footage because we were just like some of the guys were talking about their relationships. I'm like, no one cares about you. Right. We're talking about Joey right now.
Yeah, it's to get a little backstory on him
he
now,
even
like get a feel for his friends.
And even the next day, he went to his hometown. They have a pizzeria. There had been like 1,000 people there, and that didn't even make the cut either. Right. So there was a lot of girls they had to show when they were coming out of the limos and all that. But I said the world is like not ready to see me yet. So thank God people came to that first week because they thought I was going to be on. Yeah, there was a chance. And they're all saying like, yeah, how about his hometown? And I'm like, you don't realize he doesn't have a hometown this time. Right. He did the first time. Right. So I'm like, no, we're off the hook. We're done.
Yeah. It's interesting though. Like that level of production, the level of production that goes into that kind of show. I mean, they probably film like what you see is probably like truly 1% of what they film. Definitely. And like I'm only saying that from like doing like stupid little videos for local or like even shooting a wedding here and there. Like the amount of footage that you actually have to get to make like a quality product is people really probably underestimate it. So it's like, it's not a knock on anybody. It's kind of just sometimes the way the cookie crumbles, it's the way the edit comes together. And like you said, like they have to show all the girls obviously. So they're limited on how much time they have in that first episode. That's cool, man. I think so you mentioned like getting on Survivor. So I think this is like your foot in the door. I've said this forever. I'm like, I've said this to so many people. I'm like, I don't know what Kody's going to end up doing. I don't know if it's going to end up being on Survivor or this or that, but I'm like the level of willingness to put yourself out there and do everything that you're doing, which we need to talk about further. It's just a matter of time. Like the more time you put in, eventually something is going to catch, and the right person is going to see what you're up to and be like, this guy needs to be on TV.
I don't know how. Like I've auditioned since I'm 18, and I don't understand how they haven't even called me and be like, "Hey, are you okay? Like, are you mentally okay?" Like the stuff that I've said, the stuff that I did. I used to work with my family in the meat business. Mohegan Sun did a casting call, so I went up there. My mom and we waited like 4 hours to get you like talk in front of a camera. It wasn't like a application or anything. I showed up with a bloody butcher coat. I was like, I work with my family, talking about the Italian family, business. I took it off. I had my fraternity letters. I was in college at that time. Right. The typical fraternity kid in college loves to have a good time, has a lot of friends. Then I took it off and I was dressed like Jeff. I put my hat on and I told them that I do my own Survivors. That wasn't even like, there was a person talking about how they're like good at starting fires. Like no one cares about that. Yeah. I thought a bloody butcher coat will at least got me a call. Yeah. But I'm altering it a little bit for this tape. I feel like ABC and the Survivor and the Bachelor are 2 different networks. So that would have been really nice.
There's got to be some crossover there, though. There's got to be some people who worked on both and are now working for
so
ABC.
I'm trying
get the
to
word
alter it
in
a little bit and kind of go a different direction because it's not working. Anything else is not working for me right now.
You're gonna end up doing something. I don't know what, like if the Survivor thing doesn't work out, you're gonna have your own frigging game show or something. Like you'll be up there for sure.
Maybe I'll be the next Bachelor host. Who knows?
Yeah.
That article said I was the Philly Jesse. I almost said the first guy, Jesse Palmer.
Get the hell out of here, Jesse. Cody's coming. And I know he didn't write those letters last night either.
Oh, God. Did you see that handwriting? Oh, my God. There's no way. There is no way. I was thinking about that, too, actually. Because, like, it's tough because when I'm doing this, everyone's like, yeah, come talk to me at the commercials. That's when I'm doing stuff at these watch parties. Right. So, like, when it's actually on, that's when I'm walking around making sure everyone's having a good time if someone needs something. And I miss out on, like, little things sometimes because I'm just nonstop for 2 hours. Right. I wear a suit.
Oh, do you?
I do wear a suit. Oh, but I also, this past week, I changed my shoes. The dress shoes I had on, I'm a block away. Yeah. I was like crawling home.
Really? Worse than a wedding?
Because like you relax a little bit at weddings. I'm on my feet. Yeah. Now I'm there at 6 because of how crowded it's getting. Right. That's almost 4 hours, like pretty much 4 hours.
Yeah. So like how many people are you bringing into these watch parties?
So I'd say it's funny because we play bingo during commercials. Instead of me saying like B5, I'm yelling Bachelor related words. Joey, love, like all this stuff. Yeah. So I've been basing it off of the bingo cards. I started off, there was 40 words I put on, and I made 50 cards. First couple weeks, I would say I was pretty much out of them. Then the next week, I realized some of them were doubling up. So now I'm at like that 75 range. I went home, I made 25 more, but then again, this attraction of these videos kept coming out. So I made 25 more. I was at 100. And then 2 weeks ago, it was I think it was after my TikTok or it was before this video went viral. I had to handwrite like 30 of them. And handwriting a bingo card is a lot harder than you think. Yeah. Because you draw the lines, you have the words. I can't repeat a word. Right. And then you have to make them scattered. You can't make identical to another one. So I'm writing, and then this video went viral. And this past week,
you're at max capacity
I
every week.
Printed, and I think so for the last week we were at 150, and this time I think we were around 200.
Okay. What kind of ratio are we talking down there?
You'd be surprised.
I figured
there's a lot more females than males. Yeah. However, there are males there, like it's boyfriends with their girlfriend, but let me tell you, they're watching the whole time. Yeah. You know, it's not bad. Majority, like the tables that they have in the main area are like four tables, 5, 6. They're usually groups of girlfriends. But like I was just with Joey on a bachelor party at the Waste Management. Yeah. Guys were coming up to him more than girls. Really? I know obviously a golf tournament has that, more males typically. Yeah. But they're like, yo, I love you. My girlfriend loves you. My wife loves you.
Yeah, he's a likable character.
Exactly. Yeah. So it's just hilarious. And I always tell the story the first week, because Urban is known as a sports bar. It's you're going games. 2 hours earlier for an Eagles game, not for the Bachelor usually. Yeah. So the first week, the Bachelor's on at 8 o'clock. There was a Sixers game at 7:30. I go in. There's a group of guys on the corner bar. I didn't have the heart to tell them, like, you're not at 8 o'clock. This is coming off the screen.
Yeah, this isn't what you signed up for, boys.
So we started off.
Although, if you're single, and when 90% of girls walk through the door,
people walk in, you're like,
maybe you should hang out for a little bit.
You think that they don't know what they're doing? I think they know exactly what they're doing.
Now that the word is out, it's like this is the spot.
A group of guys coming in, like, oh, is this the Bachelor? Yeah, like watch party? Oh, what are you guys doing?
Yeah, you got to send your single buddies.
I'm telling you, I told them we had it on one TV to start, and then as it kept getting bigger, it's just on every TV now. Those guys have pretty much been at the watch parties every week.
Really?
They're obsessed with it.
They're just grandfathered in.
They're invested now. You know, we're down to 3, so it's and the Urban staff since day one, 32 of them picked a girl.
Oh yeah.
And it was
got a little
I know there's so much more in depth like brackets and all that out there, but they just basically pick random a girl. Yeah. And it's just funny watching, like, seeing the girls of who they picked, and somewhat know what's going on with everything, I would never say anything. But it's just funny that
you got the inside scoop on things.
I can't wait for it to be over. So
we won't put you under the spotlight.
I said I'm PR trained, so I'm good with that.
You can't blow that cover.
But yeah, even like Urban's involved with it, and Tim and I text every week about the episode, the owner, and it's hilarious.
It's wild, man. Yeah. Does the place go nuts like a sports game when like he gives somebody a rose versus somebody else? Yeah. Like, is it like that level of reaction?
That is what that's that viral video. Yeah.
So when you say viral, let's talk numbers.
Yeah.
How big did that video go?
So believe it or not, her actual video was bigger than E! News' video.
It's crazy.
She got like 4.5 million views. E! News got about 2.5.
Wow.
And I don't know, sometimes when you tag, so it wasn't my video, of course. Like I said before, I was telling you before, I put a video up, it gets like 800 views.
Yeah.
And I thought it was a good video, and I mean, it kind of explained what we do and everything. She puts that short reaction video.
That's what pops.
And that's what pops.
Yeah.
So, her video, her profile on that, when E! News posted it, obviously her name was on it. Mm-hmm. But I had a video go viral, one of my bar crawls a couple years ago, and like Zaire, it was a golf crawl, Zaire Golf, even Barstool, like everyone was posting about it. They have my name on it, but it's not hyperlinked. So it's a little tougher. Where are you really going to go in and like, okay, how do you spell that?
Yeah.
And search it. If it's hyperlinked, you just clickable. You know.
So
I put on every video that's posted about this, I'm commenting on it saying no one does it better than us with my business name on it and everything.
Yeah. I mean, you're doing it, man. You're bringing the people in there.
Yeah.
I try to get a little credit.
I'm doing I do an Instagram giveaway I'm going to do one at the end of the season for one of my tailgates. It's like a 2-person voucher, $60 value to me.
Yeah.
And it's not to get followers. It is just another cool way to get them to follow the page. And for them, it benefits because they can find out about fun things that's happening around that they might not know about.
Yeah.
And
I mean, everything that you have going is so cool. And like, I definitely want to like touch on that later.
Yeah.
Because you got a lot of cool shit going on. But like, what's like the whole dynamic? Like, I'm clueless. Like, how long has this show been over? Like, not aired over, but over. Like,
I think
stop shooting over.
I think right before Thanksgiving, I want to say.
So what the hell does he do? He just lives his life like, okay, if in whatever everything works out and he is with a girl to this day, like, how much do you know about that relationship and like how they interact, if at all, or what they could? And because obviously, like, everybody wants the inside scoop. Like, they want to know who was picked and want the spoilers and everything. What's that whole deal like for him?
People are nuts out there. There's been stuff recently. There's a guy out there that every season, I don't even watch The Bachelor prior to this. I knew who this guy was because he has like I don't know if it's a team or if it's himself. He's out there like doing all this like stuff with spoilers and paparazzi and that. Him on his own, when this is done, he has done a lot of press, a lot of podcasts, a lot of talk shows. He was on like Kelly and her husband.
I know you're talking about. Mark.
Kelly and Mark. And if he's with someone, and I've heard I've gotten more details of it because I'm talking to the actual person now about it. But I've heard him seasons past that, they will have like safe house kind of things. So they'll go and spend some time together. And
because like that's a long time to just like be living under wraps. Absolutely. Like, it's not like 2 months you could do it. You know what I mean? But like, this is, I mean, you're going on, how many months is that now?
Yeah. It's like
6, 7, whatever, which like, there's no other way to do it. Obviously it takes time to edit the show and everything, but it's like, that's a long time to like be with your significant other, like, and like living in this weird circumstance.
What I like about it too is personally, like individually, if he's not doing like those talk shows and that, he is somewhat living a normal, like he was with the Waste Management with us. He was just at my house all weekend in Philly.
Yeah.
When he's alone, it doesn't matter because he's not with the person if he is with someone right now,
Yeah. And like, so I'm sure people want to talk to him, but it's like, what they're really looking for is the relationship, not just him. Yeah. That's wild.
We got 2 weeks left.
2 weeks left. I know. I kind of texted you like day one when I told you I was watching. I'm like, Daisy's my pick. not even necessarily like that she was my pick. I just think she came across as like the most authentic and everything at first, and now it's like, oh, it's not like this other. I can't even remember her name, but the other girl's all right too.
Yeah, we got Daisy, Kelsey, and Rachel.
Yeah. I think Kelsey, he's like really connecting with now. So I'm like, yeah, I could see it going either way there maybe, and she's a good looking girl too.
It's funny too because you're not alone when you said that in the beginning, because the edit is a huge deal with how it like unfolds. And and I've been going to watch parties for Survivor, not hosting them. And I've met a lot of people from the show. And there was an example I always use where I talked to this girl who was on one of the seasons, and I said to her, I'm like, she didn't win, but I said, I'm like, you were such a silent assassin. Like, you were under the radar the whole game. And she's like, I really wasn't. Yeah. But that's just how the show made me.
Yeah. They could literally like do whatever. Like they could make anybody look like a villain or like a shitty person or this or that. And like, I point that out, like sometimes like Chris is watching these like dumb, like Love is Blind shows. And it's like when they're trying to make somebody look dumb, like just the music that they put behind while the person's talking, it's like cartoony music or whatever. Like you don't realize it because you're just like, oh, this guy's an idiot. But it's like if they just put like sentimental music behind it, it would be like, oh, that was actually like a nice thing he said.
And you like,
and it's like they have to do it. It's character building. It's still a show. I get it, but it's like just notice some of this shit. Like you can get painted a million different ways.
I'd be nervous that if I ever got on Survivor, I'm gonna see the whole thing now, and I'm like, oh, like, do they really do that? Do they do this? So I don't know.
It's like you don't want to meet your heroes sometimes.
I know.
Like
it's so
get
true.
let down.
Jeff Probst, they always ask, when people ask you, who would you want to eat dinner with? Yeah. He's always one of them. Yeah. Always one of my picks.
Who's the other two?
But, well, I don't know. I always just go with them. I feel like that changes for me constantly at how I'm feeling. Yeah. I'm a huge Bieber fan. Love to have dinner. Yeah, I love Bieber.
It's interesting. He would be interesting.
I've seen Bieber like 4 times in concert. Yeah, it's bad.
Talented dude.
I feel like, Probst is one. I don't know. I would think about some of them that like have died too, like they say living or dead. But even with Jeff, with the interview process, I've heard, I've known he's part of that process, but you cannot be starstruck when you go meet him. Right. Me, I might be, and I'm just like, hey, how you doing?
Fanboy out.
You need to be like, holy shit, it's Jeff Probst. What's up, man? Yeah. And just be like a normal person, because I think that like plays into it a little bit of for sure. Their decision making.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah. That's the whole Survivor thing it's like anybody who knows you associates Survivor with you. But for anybody listening, so that's actually how we met. So Kody hosts his own Survivors, and like you would think like, so it's like in people's backyards or at like an event space or this or that, whatever. The 2 times I did it with you, it was in 2 people's yards for the most part. And like the level of planning, like when I signed, like my buddy asked me, or you asked me, you reached out, you're like, hey,
you did mine first, right?
Yeah. Yeah. You're like, do you want to do Survivor? I'm like, sure. I'm like, I know what the show is obviously, but like I never like really watched it. And I'm like, yeah, sure. That sounds fun. Let's do it. And then like I get there and I'm like, holy shit, Kody. I'm like, there's a lot of planning that goes into all this. Like you have it all mapped out. Yep. Like it's a true production what you had going. And I'm like thinking in my head, I'm like, it's awesome that you're doing it. But I'm like, why is he doing this? I'm like it's so much work, and it's like the full day. Like you're on the job, like managing this whole event. Like it took like probably 6 hours. Yeah. And like I don't think you were even like participating. You were just like doing like managing the whole thing or whatever. And I was like, what's this incentive for him to be doing this? Right? And I'm just like, oh, dude just loves the game. Like he just is all about it. And it was honestly like, it was so fun. Like truly like one of those things like I'm never going to forget. It was like that memorable of an experience, which I'm sure so many people would echo like the same sentiment. Like how many Survivors have you done like for friends or paid or whatever?
Yeah. So I started May 9th of 2009.
Holy shit.
So it goes all the way back to that. That was our first season. And actually I played that one.
Oh yeah.
So my mom and dad, everything that I put into my events and hosting and my personality has come from them. Mm-hmm. So I don't know what made me think of it. My brain's always going with everything. And I said, I was like, we were juniors in high school.
Mm-hmm.
I said, like, we should do a Survivor for our friends. And my mom and dad they agreed. We had a pool, a good yard. You did it
Good
at
yard
my house,
for it,
my parents' house. So we did that, and we had 2 teams. Again, it was our juniors, some seniors. I actually ended up winning.
Rigged.
Everyone's like, it's rigged. My team, I love them to death. We were terrible.
Really?
And everyone thought I knew the games. My parents were like, no, don't go in there. There's games in that.
Yeah.
We were terrible.
That would take the fun out of it too.
Exactly. What's that? What's that going to do? I might know it, but what am I going to practice by myself?
Right. Yeah. What do you get out of it?
But we lost like 4 times.
Yeah.
So I mean, if I played you would know, like, man, Cody's the Survivor guy. Let's get him out.
Yeah.
But people were just coming to me because they knew, I don't think they knew what to do.
Uh-huh.
So they're like, who should we vote off? So I was screwing over everyone every time.
Yeah, you start pulling the strings on everything.
Exactly. And then I ended up winning, and it was fun. I had a blast doing it. But then all my friends loved it.
Mm-hmm.
My parents are great with all that. They're not as psycho as I am.
Yeah.
So this was like that. That was May. This was December. In the snow now, we had a little change of scenery. I know that they did such a good job with the first one. I know they're not going to give that effort again.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm like, well, I'm not going to win again. I'll host this time. Ever since then, this is my 26th season.
It's crazy.
I come up with a name every time.
Yeah. And you just is there any I'm sure there's some sort of methodology to who you're inviting on and everything, but before you reached out to me to do it that one time at Fiorillo's.
Yeah. Well, that wasn't mine. That was Allison's.
Oh, that was Allison's.
That's
right.
I thought she wanted me to help her host that.
Yeah.
She actually asked me to play. I'm like, ooh, I never get to play.
Oh, yeah, that's right. I'm getting
the
two twisted. Yeah.
You did the one at my parents' house when we had the guys versus the girls.
Yeah.
It was Battle of the Sexes.
And
see, isn't that weird? I know, each season.
I've said this many times about you too. You have a unique memory. Dude, the level of detail that you could remember, and the amount. It's not like what people who live boring lives. You could remember something from 10 years ago in this fine little detail because it really sticks out. Because you're only doing 5, 6 really exciting things a year. You are literally doing something every single weekend, and the shit you remember doesn't even make sense to me. But anyway, besides the point. Just that's why I was saying earlier how just the level of effort that you're putting into the things that you enjoy doing, it is going to pay dividends eventually. Someone's going to see, the right person's going to see it at the right time, and something's going to work out. And you deserve some shine there.
I mean, even with Survivor, it's like you said, going into it thinking of each thing. You start off as teams, and I need a game. Not only am I making a game for one team, I need to make the exact same thing for the other.
Mm-hmm.
So then as a certain point goes on, it becomes individually. So there are times where people have, I don't want to say it was emergencies, but last minute have backed out.
Mm-hmm.
And you don't realize oh, okay, I'm just not going to go. It screws the whole number up.
Messes everything up.
Because I might have a balancing thing that has 5 handles for it.
Mm-hmm.
But now at this point, because there's one less person, now someone's got to go that and hold it.
Yeah.
So, I have to switch things around. I do double vote offs. No matter what the situation is, I have the whole schedule written down.
Mm-hmm.
I hide the idols. Everything has to go into place at that time.
Yeah.
And it's cool. It's brought so many people together too.
Yeah. Yeah.
This past season I just did, the first time ever was 20 people that never met each other.
Oh, I remember you telling me that.
So they're literally hey, I'm Kody, I'm Corey.
Yeah.
And it was cool to.
You have a weird, and even when I did it at your house, there was maybe, I would say maybe 6 or 7 people who I never met.
Exactly.
And there's a connection, one person away or whatever, but I never met. And ever since that day, you are truly connected to that person forever. You will remember that they were there.
Yeah.
It's funny how that works. It's such a cool thing that you have going. So the whole Survivor thing, is that kind of what segued or inspired you to start your business? And if you don't mind, just share a bit about everything that you're doing.
Yeah. So the business, if I'm going to give like one sentence about it, it's pretty much split in half. So it's half travel and half events.
Mm-hmm.
So the event side, definitely Survivor, those events had a huge dealing with that. And a little bit of the travel side of it, I guess, and maybe events that I'm like, going to, or, going to places and doing things.
Mm-hmm.
I pretty much plan a lot of my friends' social lives.
Mm-hmm.
And I was like, you know what? I might as well start making money off this.
Yeah. You were always that guy, so you might as well.
If I didn't do it, it didn't happen.
Hey, I forget the name of it. There's this Japanese term. I'll look it up and maybe flash it on the screen, but it's basically one of the goals in life is to find what people need, what you're good at, and basically find a way you could make money doing it or whatever. And it's like finding your passion and monetizing it, basically.
Yeah.
As long as it's something that people actually need, which I feel like is what you found.
I had a buddy of mine when I went to Westchester, did a victory lap there, obviously. And then I had a couple years where I was, like I said, working with my family. I would be in Philly every weekend. Mm-hmm. And that's where, we were doing a lot of things there, and a lot of my friends from college were there. He basically said, I'm just giving you like 30% of my paycheck every week because whatever you do, I'm in.
Yeah.
Like he was always just in, and it was just easier because, Venmo and everything. Around. Yeah, exactly. And, I started a fraternity at Westchester. That's how Joey and I met.
You started that fraternity?
Yeah.
What?
It's not like we went down. We're like, hey, let's like pick a thing. There's a whole thing that went it, but we were founders of Bike at Westchester.
No shit.
So we do alumni events, and it was actually 2 weeks ago. Yeah, 2 weeks ago. Well, actually a week and a half. We're almost not even through this week. And it's our Founders Day nationally. So every year we go back and do like an open bar and I get a hotel every time I'm there. I'm like a frequent flyer at that hotel now. And I am on the alumni board, and every time we get a new president, we go out to dinner, and it's great meeting these kids. And this was like the make or break year for me because, of course, I'm planning it. I'm not even a student there anymore. Mm-hmm. I still have these relationships with these bars that I had when I was a student. And like I said, this was the make or break year because, I don't want to also be that. And this is everything I do, too. I don't want to be that guy sometimes that's like, oh, we're hearing about another thing from Kody. Mm-hmm. And this was actually our biggest year yet. We had like almost 85 guys.
Really?
And it's nice. Younger kids coming up to me, and even the kids like I haven't seen in a while, again saying, if you don't do this, no one is going to do this.
Right.
And count me in for because it's usually the same weekend every year.
Yeah.
I'm in for next year, like all this stuff.
Yeah.
And
you get the positive reinforcement of like what you're doing. Yeah.
And it's just, I think, and that's where a lot of my stuff came from when I was involved in college too. Yeah. And it just kind of snowballed into to where we're at now.
It's weird how you get influence from all different areas. Like you were probably, and like from what I know, like we barely knew each other in high school.
Yeah.
But like had some similar friends and everything, and you were always kind of like just like the glue guy, like just friends with everybody. Always like probably same thing, like getting everybody together for good times and stuff like that. And it's like, you go to college, you get involved with the frat, and it's like it literally like transformed your life. Like you could be working in the meat business with your family right now, and like look at like you couldn't be doing something more opposite now.
Exactly. Yeah,
it's cool. It's interesting. Like what other stuff you doing? What other kind of events you got?
So the big thing is the tailgates. I would say is like my biggest, other than trivia nights now. It's crazy that I'm doing them at 8 different places now.
Wow.
And there's only 4 days of the week I do them. So you do the math. It's a lot. The tailgates are definitely the flashiest things that I do. Mm-hmm. It's involving the most amount of people at the event, with the weather getting nice again. It's tough because it's the winter, but like basketball games and hockey games right now, you usually don't tailgate them that often. Mm-hmm. I think again because it's so cold.
Yeah.
Usually just go to like Xfinity or something before, so the weather does help that a lot. Mm-hmm. I'm out of all Philly sports, I'm definitely the biggest Phillies fan out of everything. So, but there's so many baseball games.
Yeah.
So I try to focus on those weekend games. A lot of that's going to be happening. country concerts come in the stadiums all the time now.
Yeah. So like, how do your, I'm playing dumb here, but how do the tailgates work? Like, so you set up this tailgate and it's pretty much like open invite, more or less. People get in touch with you, and like, how does that all work?
Yeah. So I always use an example of like a couple. They're going to Kenny Chesney. You know, they're going to park their car, or if they're taking public, it's actually worse if they take public transportation. But if they have their car there, what are they going to unfold their chair and sit and like cheers a hoagie and like a drink?
Yeah.
So I think a lot of the things that I do is you get a group, sometimes group price, but mostly a group experience without being in a group. So this couple will be like, hey, Kody, I want to go I'm going to Kenny Chesney. Could we get 2 tickets to your tailgate? It's open bar. It's all you can eat. The supplies, the tables, the tents, the games, the music, it's all there for them. Right. They don't have to set anything up. They don't have to break anything down. That's nice. Which is great. Yeah, exactly. Yeah. And even bigger groups that, you know, might be celebrating a birthday, or I've had engagements sometimes, day after weddings. I do the private route too, where it's only for them. Things change a little bit with like the whole setup and everything of it. But sometimes there's groups of people that will come that have 40 people. But I asked them, I'm like, is this private? They're like, no, we don't care. Yeah. But can we have 40 tickets? Right. So right off the bat, I know it's going to be a success because numbers wise, we have a big jump now of 40. Yeah. And then you never realize who you're going to run into, who you're going to meet. You know, and same before, you know, I'm blessed that I still have the relationships with my friends from here, my friends from college, and post-college. I don't realize.
Yeah, a bunch of different chapters there. All kind of getting.
And I was thinking
together.
about this, my parents, like, they're best friends. They're like my parents. They met when I was a kid playing football. Right. So, like, that didn't even come till, like, after their years if they were in college and that. So, who knows? Like, the relationships I make might not even be that best friend yet. Right. You know, right now I've got a ton. I'm blessed. Right. But and the thing is, I can't rely on them too, because this is my business. I can't expect them to come to everything. Right. You know, so I have to stay fresh with it.
Keep branching out.
Keep branching out. And I think the trivia nights help. I mean, even back to Survivor, like getting 20 people that never met each other, you know, our area, it's crazy. Yeah. I get you. I can't get anyone you know, let alone probably your high school, you know, and anything here. So that I had to use relationships I made to make that work. Yeah. It was tough. I definitely can't do it again.
It's literally 20 different friend groups with no crossover. It's definitely hard to accomplish. Yeah. No, it's a cool thing you have going. I think you're basically just doing, like, if I'm gathering everything correctly, and I've been to a couple, but like, you just do all the legwork. It's like, you kind of just show up at the parking lot, you party, and then you go to your event. It's like, it's the best.
And back to the fraternity, you know, people join that for so many different reasons. A lot of those kids actually work for me.
Oh, really?
They intern my tail. They like, we call them interns, but they're the main like guys for the tailgate.
Oh, that's awesome.
They all graduated now, so I have to do a new wave of them. There were 6 of them, and they would rotate 2 at a time, and they were great. And that's what it's about, you know, like the networking of that part of it. You always hear the bad stuff of it. And I like going back. I mean, I've been out a long time now, but I love going back where the kids still know me. And hey, we started this thing. Yeah. I want to see what it's like. Yeah. You know, and I am involved sure it's
with
like
it. Still like being upheld to the same standard. And
college is different since, you know, our time.
A lot changed in 10 years. A lot changed,
exactly.
So I'm sure it's like, and that's the thing, like there you could say what you will about frats and everything like that, fraternity life, sorority life, whatever. But like everything, there's a flip side to it, and it's not going to be like, if there's 40 guys in the frat, like there might only be 3 or 4 that actually are there and take the networking part like somewhat seriously, because they're a little bit more mature or whatever, and they see somebody like you or potentially go work for you for like a summer or a football season or whatever, and maybe, you know, you might never see them again, but like you don't know the level of inspiration that you're giving them, and you just get their creative juices flowing, where it's like, oh man, like I don't need to go take a 9-to-5 job in accounting. Like I could just start something like Kody and like a completely different atmosphere, but like he did it. Why can't I? You know what I mean? So it's cool. Yeah. That networking piece is interesting. And it's like, you're almost like potentially like mentoring these kids without even knowing.
Exactly.
It's neat.
It was cool because I was in a fraternity and I was a tour guide. So I was like the president of like, I was like Tom Green in Road Trip.
Yeah.
And to this day, it's so awesome to, there's kids in my fraternity that will say I was the reason they joined that fraternity.
Really?
There's people that to this day still come up to me. Like, some know me right away. So others just make sure, like, hey, are you Kody?
Mm-hmm.
I'm like, yeah, like you gave my tour at Westchester. You're the reason I went.
That's cool.
And I always tell this story. A friend of mine, her relative, so I told you I did the victory lap, but I also I guess like half a victory lap because I graduated in December. Yeah. That semester I interned.
Had a little something still you get out of the system.
I had the lease till May. Where was I going? I wasn't going
paying
anywhere.
For it anyway.
So she applied to, I don't know, X amount of number of schools. And my friend calls me that this was like the only in-state school or something. Mm-hmm. And she wanted to, weather on a tour has a lot to do with like your decision making.
Oh yeah.
You remember that campus as a rainy day. Uh-huh. You don't even want to like think about it.
I know.
It's crazy to think of.
I know.
And apparently that's what the case was her first time around. And it was a Saturday. I wasn't a student anymore. So I was in charge of pledges when I was in the fraternity. So my pledges still lit. We're obviously in school. She goes, will you give a tour, an off the record tour? Mm-hmm. And she came, and I did go out the night before, so I was I woke up a little. Yeah, I was wearing sunglasses, and I really didn't need to. And I gave her the tour, and I had we had two types of dorms at Westchester. I always called it the Motel 6 and the Holiday Inn. Mm-hmm. They were like two different kind. So I called both of them. We went to their room. They saw what a real the mock tour, the mock rooms are the beds made perfect. Yeah. Like that's not what a dorm looks like.
Give me the real feel.
They got the real feel, and they called me that Monday, and she went to Westchester.
Really?
It was like last on her list, and cool. The tour did it. So it's exciting and it's nice. Yeah, it's rewarding.
Yeah, for sure. I feel like it just plays into your personality so well, and it's like you do need those ambassadors in different parts of life, just because. Like somebody has to do that stuff. Yeah. It's like shepherding like the next kind of wave of people, whether it's pledges or like just like showing the way. Like even with the TikTok that you have going now, like Explore Then Pour, it's like like you're the guy I want to listen to. Like you get a real feel for a place. Like the whole concept is kind of like explore the city, explore the area, explore the event, whatever it is that you're doing, and then go have a drink somewhere nearby or and you kind of get like a little minute blurb tour of like maybe a new place that opened or an existing place that like maybe is under the radar. It's cool. It's like somebody's got to talk about it. Yeah. You're the guy for it.
We did Indianapolis with the Fiorellos. We went to I don't even know how to describe it. It's a bowling alley, but you're throwing a football at it. And you're like not cornhole length away. Like you are probably like a bowling alley length away. And you're just
I actually saw one of your videos. Yeah.
So like, who would have thought you'd be like going to something like that? And that's the whole point of that page. Mm-hmm. There's a bar in Philly where it's a barber shop, and you walk in during the day. It's a barber shop. You open the one door, and then it's a full on speakeasy bar.
Really?
So it's crazy too because the videos I posted, I just started. This idea came about like 4 years ago, and just been so crazy with everything. Kind of got it going now. But like 2 out of my videos are only in Philly. So I'm kind of doing it backwards where I really should have started getting the name out there a little bit more with Philly doing these things. Mm-hmm. But I do travel a lot. So I'm doing it anyway. Yeah. When we went away to Indianapolis, I was able to do 3 videos. Yeah, we went to 3 different things and we drank at 3 different bars. Yeah. And some of them are cool. And that's... and the Explore Then Pour name is catchy, I feel like. Mm-hmm. I'm freakishly good at writing poems. Like, it's so weird.
Really?
Yeah. That, when we were supposed to be on the video for The Bachelor, Joey did a toast, and the one guy's like, had the camera, he's like, why don't you guys say something? And all my boys are like, all right, do a poem. It's time. I blacked out. I don't even know what I said, but I'm like, watch, if this clip gets on, the poem is going to be the only thing that's on here.
That's what you're going to be famous for.
They'll call me like Edgar Allan Poe or something. People are ruthless out there. So I'm like, oh, I'm dreading this.
Yeah, you get that like Philly ball bus, and it's they're ruthless.
Yeah. It's when I came up with that name, it just kind of stuck, and it's been cool. It's been fun.
Yeah, it's really cool. Yeah, so you mentioned like how much like you do a good amount of traveling. I feel like that's like the last prong of your business, like planning bachelor parties, bachelorette parties, honeymoons, like all that kind of stuff I see you doing. And again, it's another thing, like especially like I feel like bachelor parties, like bachelorette parties, like girls are a little bit more proactive and good about it. Where like bachelor parties, it's like, like you want to just go party with your friends, but like it would be cool if you mix in like one cool thing for if you're in New Orleans and you want to do like the swamp tour or something. Exactly. That's where you kind of come in and you kind of plan all the logistics that are very difficult with like 18 guys at times.
Yeah. Bachelorettes is like, I talked about why I started and everything, but that was the main goal, was bachelorettes. Yeah. And now we're at Bachelor Watch Parties, which is nuts. But that was the main focus in the beginning. And then the tailgate started. I had all the supplies for that. Then we kind of branched off with it. But that was the main reason, because you're dealing with a bunch of people. It might be friends from home, might be friends from college. They're coming in from different places. Believe it or not, the girls too, they are on a different level than the guys, 100%. But they're definitely better at things than I am. The decorations. Yeah. The every time, like, what's the theme going to be? Like, you're going to Nashville. You're going to New Orleans. What do you mean? Yeah. They have, like, a cowgirl theme, a cow print hats, like all that stuff.
Pryla and I were just talking about this the other day. We were talking about how you do the bachelor and bachelorette parties. And we were wondering, like, for like that, the example you just gave, like, do you do that part, or do you kind of rely on like the wedding party, or the, what are they called,
bridal party,
to do like some of that stuff, and you're just planning like the logistics and the events?
It's more logistics and events, but there are times where I'm not the one on Amazon Googling cowgirl hats. Right. But there are companies out there that I'll find for them that they don't have to do it either. Right. I just did one in Palm Springs. In the right direction. At least like I'm not the one doing it, but at least it's booked ahead of time, ready to go. Oh, they do like ones that they like stock the fridge. Oh, that's sweet. The guys, we just go to whatever gas station or store nearby. Just get a 12 for the night.
I found you a gas station 0.3 miles away. Just stop there on the way, boys.
It's just so, and you think you'd want to get 12 cases, but you just get a 12 pack and then you just go each day and keep doing that. Like, why don't you just buy one to have the whole time?
That sounds about right.
And it's, we're at that age now where you're getting married. Everyone's getting married too. So it started off where these are all clients of mine, but now I'm the organizer and I'm also a guest. Yeah. And it's
lots of overlap.
There's a lot of overlap, and I'm the best man in my buddy's wedding in May. That's what we did the waste management for. And I know he didn't pick me because of that, but it's funny. Like, well, I have to do it now because I am the best man. Right. It's not just a client coming in asking about it. He lucked out though. It was good.
An unpaid gig.
An unpaid gig. Exactly. So it's, but like I said before, and even like collecting money, it's
just a hassle. It just takes all the hassle out of it.
Yeah. It's nice having everything go to one place and it's all organized. I make packets for everyone. It's detailed for them.
Yeah. I mean, you were the travel agent for our wedding. We're leaving in
I can't
4
believe
days.
It's here.
I know, it's crazy. And like, dude, I didn't have to worry about a thing. Like we had like a few calls here and there. It's like, you give me some updates. It's like all good. Like I literally didn't have to do anything, and it would have been the biggest nightmare trying to get everything. I feel like
we had like mini podcasts between you every time.
We should have recorded.
I'd like literally call you for one little thing, and I look at the phone and we're on for like 35 minutes.
I know. Cause it would, we would talk like quote unquote business for like 5 minutes, and then we'd be on the phone for 25 minutes just shooting the shit about moose.
It is. I told him at trivia, his name is alphabetically the first name. I just, every time I would click on it just made me laugh. I can't wait to hear the stories from that room in particular.
That room in particular.
But obviously you had I've done 3 now. Yours is the biggest by far. And it is a lot of work, but it's like a puzzle. Yeah. And if like you see the dashboards that I'm, dealing with going into it, it is like a puzzle, and it's
lots
where
of
everyone
moving
needs to be.
parts
Lots of moving parts, and there are people coming from other places, and it's funny when I have clients on any kind of trip come from our area. We are lucky that, it depends on where you're going. We do have Avoca here, but the distance of these airports are all pretty similar. You have Philly, you have Newark, you have JFK. When someone comes to me from Philly, it is a hassle to go to one of the other ones.
Yeah.
You just kind of get stuck with Philly. So it is nice that you have options. Depends on where you're going, obviously. But, we had to deal with that too with yours. There's a lot of people coming from different airports and different days too. But
for sure.
Yeah.
I know you mentioned you were just on that bachelor party that you planned, waste management. How was waste management?
It was awesome. It was
pure chaos, right?
Pure chaos. I'm sure you saw everything from this year. It was extra crazy.
Yeah.
I, from the start, wanted to do Friday no matter what. Not Saturdays are just a Saturday.
Right.
You know how it is. And anything.
Yeah.
People, if there's a 2-day concert, you're number one. You want to go on the Saturday.
Yeah. And
I just think logistically, and I don't know. I mean, our group, if we were Saturday, we would have been right in the madness too. Not that Friday wasn't, but there was rain. First off, it was freezing in Arizona.
Really?
I barely brought a jacket.
Yeah, and you wouldn't think.
Yeah, like Joey, a couple of other guys.
Is it
Scottsdale? Yeah, I guess it is Scottsdale. It is north of it. That's where we stayed. Like Joey and a couple of our other buddies on it, they were freezing all week. I'm like a polar bear. I feel like you gotta put some meat on your bones because I'm okay,
up, boys.
But it was cold. It definitely was cold. But they also got rain. So Thursday on the tournament, I'm pretty sure it was rained out. So then when Friday happened, that was the day we went. It was very muddy, and you would sit down on some holes. You think it's the grass, but it is wet. You get up and you're all like wet on your ass and everything. But the crowd itself was massive. But again, it was a Friday. So then Saturday, I'm sure you heard they stopped serving alcohol. They were letting anyone in. Yeah. They weren't even scanning tickets.
Really?
Yeah, they were just, because of the line so big, I think, they were just letting it flow. It was, chaos. But I think Friday, weather and crowd was the best of both worlds. And I actually did a little bit more drinking on Saturday than I did Friday, believe it or not. But it was nice not having to, I mean, that would have been insane. Yeah. We were there till the end. So we were drinking. Not that we had to drink the whole time, but a lot that they had to do that to get people out of there. Yeah. I went to the Players before with my family. So one, the Players is not like the waste management. And two, I'm with my family, not a bachelor party. Right. So a little different vibe.
Yeah, for sure.
But it's been on my bucket list for so long. Yeah. And
what hole's the craziest one?
16th. So we didn't even get in on Friday.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
No shit.
We made a mistake. We walked in. We really should have just went in line. Now, a buddy of mine was there. I was sleeping, but he texted me at 3:50. He was in line. Or he might have texted me a little bit, but on Snapchat, you can add the time. His time said 3:50 in line for the 16th. He was there for Thursday. Oh, no, it might have been Friday. It was the morning we were going. I think we should have just went right to it, but we walked around for 2 hours.
Oh, really?
And I didn't even wear golf. I think I wore these, my Skechers or my comfy shoes. We were walking around. I looked at my watch. We were at like 26,000 steps. I'm telling you.
Holy shit.
I'm like, can we sit down? Like, I'm done with this. And it was nice. I mean, like, you'd get a beer, then I have to pee, and there's a porta potty. We kept going, but I'm like, our goal was to follow.
Working too hard for a bachelor party.
Yeah, I'm like, my legs are killing me here. And our goal was to start following a golfer, but we were looking to follow Scotty, JT. Everyone is going to be doing that. Yeah. I said, can't we just like sit down? Yeah. So we did eventually make our way to go to the 16th. It was like a 3-hour wait at that point. I think if we went in when we did and just went to it, might have been an hour and a half, which is not bad. I mean, who wants to wait in line an hour and a half? But we could have been there the rest of the day then. Right. We did go the 17th, which had a bandstand. The 17th was on one side and the 10th was on the other. So we did that. But then there's a DraftKings sports book, bar, and if you take away the tournament, it's definitely on the outside of the grounds, like, but it's right outside the grounds.
Yeah,
but with the tournament going on, you have the walkway, like, the line forming, everything. It was still in the event.
Oh, really?
At this time. So, it was about that time where we got what we got out of this, and we did end up. I didn't explore them poor, and we went to DraftKings. Joey did have some pull for that.
You got a little special treatment there.
Yeah, he made me handle that one. I was texting the people to go in, and I felt kind of cool. I felt like I was like his turtle on Entourage.
Yeah.
People actually came up like, "Let me guess, are you his turtle?" I'm like, "Yeah, I'll be whatever he wants. I don't care."
That's good.
But it was cool. It was fun.
Turtle's not a bad gig.
Oh, he said, "Yeah, turtle ends up doing pretty good."
Yeah, that works out. Yeah, that's sweet though. I figured like somebody's got to recognize him, like get some special treatment.
Yeah,
right?
he was
take advantage of it. Strike while the iron's hot a little bit.
He got noticed a lot there.
And he can last forever. So
yeah, for sure. There was a lot of guys too. I'm telling you, it was, my girlfriend loves you. We love watching you.
It's cool.
Yeah, and we had his buddy on. When he was on the Bachelorette, his buddy was with him.
Oh yeah,
he was with us as well.
Oh nice.
So it was funny that Joey was getting a lot more attention than he was, but they're like, "Oh, I know you too."
Yeah,
it's
like you look around. Oh,
yeah. Scottsdale though. Have you ever been to Scottsdale?
No.
It's in my top for sure.
Oh yeah.
I think so. I've been there. That was my 5th time there.
No shit.
My dad's a huge Cardinals fan.
Mm-hmm.
So, and he likes the Suns. So my family also lives out there. My nephews and niece are out there.
Oh, really?
Yeah, they're in. It's called Maricopa.
Yeah,
it's like 40 minutes south of Phoenix.
Oh, sweet.
The drive is brutal, but so I've been out there for games. I've been out there to see them. Cool. I've traveled from like Denver through the parks.
Yeah.
It took me this time to realize how much I actually liked it there. Mm-hmm. Again, those are different vibe trip, like different kind of vibes there, but just the look of it, the nightlife, and
I've heard nothing but good things.
Yeah, it made my top 5. It crept up to the top 5.
Yeah,
it got there.
Yeah. So, what? Speaking of top 5, I guess we got to hear the other 4 now.
Yeah, Scottsdale actually is number 5.
Mm-hmm.
It snuck its way in there. My boys, Jake Avern and Sean Irvin, they make fun of me all the time that they say I change my 5 depending on who I'm talking to, which is bullshit.
You got to speak to the crowd.
I say
know your audience.
He says that Carbondale's in my top 5. I love Carbondale, but like, come on, it's hilarious.
Maybe 6.
They're gonna die when they see this too.
I saw were they with Gasper at the watch party?
They were there.
I thought I saw them in the video.
Gasper with the bingo.
Oh God,
he was dealing with him with your wedding was just like last night. Same thing.
That kid is one of a kind. we were saying, so he had the floor Sunday morning at my bachelor party. We were cleaning up and everything, and Gasper's just sitting in front of the fireplace, and he had the floor for sure. He had an attentive audience, and he was on one, and somebody's just like, Gasper, you are literally a pull string toy. You say the same 5 things. You pull the string, and but like, dude, for some reason, it's always funny. He's the best. Gasper's the best.
Yeah, they were there last night watching. I think they're there for the reasons like we were talking about the other guys.
Yeah.
But I got them watching
boys.
It too. Yeah, for sure. Yeah. So Scottsdale's number 5. I am going to Chicago this week, and I've heard great things. So I have a feeling that might get up there. Number 4 is Austin, Texas. Have you ever been?
No, but going soon. So Mark DeLeo.
Oh, nice. Oh, yeah, he's out there, right?
Yeah, he's down there now, and he's doing his wedding down there. Yeah. So we'll be down.
I think
hopefully twice this year.
I've been there 4 times now.
Really?
3 for bachelor parties, and my friend works for a jewelry company there, so that was my first time there. Going to New Orleans, going to Nashville, you know what to expect at least going into it. I had no expectations for Austin. I didn't know anything about it. Usually I do the research. I was going, and I didn't have a client going there prior. So I kind of just went in. My friend lived there for years, went in with it, and it blew me away.
That's awesome.
When
there's no expectation, that's the best.
Like there's West 6, there's Dirty 6, there's Rainy Street. They used to be, when I first went there were houses, and you just open the front door and it's a bar.
Really?
But now they're like somewhat knocking them down. They're putting high rises up. I know.
That's what sucks. Like, not to be like a Debbie Downer, but like Nashville, same thing. Like it just loses its charm and its character because like they realize like the level of people that are moving there and the money that's being generated, and it's like from a business perspective, I get it. Like it makes sense to invest, but it's like, man, like at the price of losing all of its characters, it stinks. Like it stinks to see that happen. And where it's like all the smaller bars get run out of town, and now it's like all country music singers bars. And like, don't get me wrong, like they're fun. Like I was talking about it with Biz, actually, Barbara Biz, when he was doing his bachelor party there. And like the bars are fun, like it's a great time, but it just lost its character and just kind of all feels the same now.
Exactly.
Which stinks, but that's like actually like not surprising. Like out west, like if you're in like Jackson Hole, for example, or some towns in Montana, like they're so strict. Like I don't know if it's like some board in the town or like whatever, I don't know, all like the public, like, I don't know, whatever the hell they are, but they're like so strict about what businesses could come in and out and where, because like they want to preserve basically what makes it great as it is. And it's like, okay, like I'm not saying you can't put up a hotel, but the hotel is going to be 3 miles away instead of right in the town square that like all the character and people like associate with Jackson Hole, for example.
Like that whole look of it, like you see like Telluride, I've always seen people there with the mountains, and they have those old time buildings, and it looks so authentic and old time, and and that's the whole reason people are going there too.
And it takes principled people to be in those positions to make that decision, because like if you were just looking at it on paper, like financially, it is best for the city if we did put a skyrise in right now or whatever, because it's going to bring in so much more tourism and the dollars that come from that. But like, what's the trickle down effect like 15 years from now when like everybody's sick of that, and now you just sacrificed all the charm and character of your main street that had all the cool town or the like kind of like mom and pop businesses and the mountain backdrop. It's like you're blocking out the mountain backdrop with skyrise. It's just a short-term view on things. And it's like, I just wish more people took that perspective of these like unique areas. Like I'm not saying don't develop or don't evolve the city and like change, just like be a little bit more strategic and not like just let big money like rule everything. But I'll get off my pedestal now, and you could tell us more about Austin.
No, but there's the reason, like that's the reason people keep going there right now for that, you know, places like that. It's nice though. It's still, some of the houses on that street, you know, are still there. They do have 2 lakes there. You know, I've been there where I actually had to buy a winter jacket, believe it or not. And then I went for a bachelor party that I don't think I had a shirt on the whole weekend. Like it was 110.
I know, talking to Mark now, he's like, it's crazy. Like Texas, like rarely gets the cold weather. As I was talking to him, maybe it was like 2 months ago now, or like a month and a half, and he's like, yeah, man, it's like this is the coldest it's been since we've been down here, and like we don't have like all of our stuff because we just weren't expecting it. And it was like, I don't know, maybe it was like 35 degrees or something like that. Like 2 days later, he like sent me like a video of himself washing his car with his like cut off and shorts on, and it's like just 82 degrees. I'm like, just a friggin' 55 degree swing in 2 days. It's wild.
It's a cool spot, and I think the main reason, again, I didn't know what to expect going into it, so I did like it. And the bachelor parties that I did go were also different too, so it was nice getting a little bit of a vibe, a different vibe at each one too. Number 3 is Nashville. Obviously. No brainer. And you'd be like, you think like me, you know me with it, live music and country music, big country music fan. It actually was lower on my list, and then every time I go there, I'm like, oh my gosh, this is the greatest.
It
place
is just
ever.
The best. As much as I just bash it for like some of the way they operate, it is still just.
Jason Aldean's Rooftop is my number 1 bar in the country.
Yeah, it's awesome.
The Rooftop especially.
It's awesome.
And it's crazy because those bars, they can't. They're all trying to expand, but they're all right next to each other, so they only could go up.
Right.
Like Tootsie's was, I think, like one of the only rooftops they had there, and then now all these places are doing it. I don't know if it's actually I was with Joey when I went to this is pre-bachelor, but the people we were with that day, it's not like a really crazy bar. It is a popular bar in Nashville. I just don't know. It's the people I was with. the time of day, the weather,
Mm-hmm.
it just was amazing. And you could see the skyline there. So that's why I like that. And especially being a country fan, you don't have to like country, but it's just such a electric place.
Yeah, they truly cater to everybody. Like everybody who is hesitant, because like if you're not the biggest country fan, it doesn't matter anymore.
Yep, you
could definitely go and have a great time.
And then my second is actually Key West.
Oh, that's a good pick.
Did you ever go?
Yeah. I was younger, but I could definitely see where like I need to get there now.
I think Key West is like Nashville by the water.
Yeah.
It's not country-ish again, but again, what you just talked about, it's not really all just that. I've never been to Key West, and I'm about to be there for the third time in 1 year.
Really?
Yeah.
That's how much you liked it after the first
So the
time?
first time I went is with my family, and that's kind of why we're going again. We went to see Old Dominion. They were playing down there in the amphitheater. The Thursday before we left, it canceled.
Really?
So we had all our rooms and everything, and we're like, well, none of us, my parents have been there. I think my cousin went. But we're like, why not? Let's just go. And for my first time there, I'm glad it was canceled because we were only there Friday to Sunday. Saturday would have took the whole day pretty much. Oh, my God. I was like walking around in my glory. Duval Street is amazing. Then I did go for my buddy's bachelor party in, I think it was August. People, I think, are still talking about us down there.
Really?
Like we
tore it up.
Then we burnt, and I had a guy. I can't wait to see him. I'm going next week because that concert did get pushed a year. So we're all just going down again to do it. Yeah, we were going to try and sell them. Back. I'm like, yeah, let's just go back. Twist my arm. But the bachelor party, there's a guy there, and I have so many favorite bars there. Like you can't go wrong with any of them. But the one bar he was playing is just one guy with a guitar. I didn't have anything. I didn't have my business shirt on, but my buddy has a tank top. Kevin, you know Kevin Morgan?
Yeah.
Yeah. So it was his bachelor party.
Kev's my guy for the roundup.
Oh yeah, exactly. Yeah. He's my skiing guy. So he's a guy for a lot. He was wearing my Secchio Experiences tank, and the guy on the mic is like, what is that? And then we got to talk about my business. I must have been in the bathroom or something.
Yeah, we probably should have mentioned the name of your business.
Yeah, right. I forgot to.
Yeah. But anyway, go ahead. Sorry.
And I came out of the bathroom and they're like, there you are. I'm like, what? What'd I miss? And the guy was like, Secchio.
Really?
The whole bar. So when I go see him next week, I'm going to bring him a shirt and everything.
That's awesome.
He was great. And my friends go down. I tell them to go see it.
Oh, that's awesome.
Like I said, I just think I'm born to be by the water too. And just that strip. I don't care if I'm 60 years old. I'm going to be on Duval, bar hopping. And
that's the nice thing about Key West in Florida. It's like truly doesn't matter what age. It's like if you have that vibe, you're good.
And you know about the naked bar there, right?
No, I don't.
It's called the Garden of Eden. Mm-hmm. I forget the
appropriately named.
Yeah, right. It's the rooftop of that place. And then the first and second floor might be called something. It is called something else. I forget what it's called.
Just leave your clothes on the steps.
It's optional. And like I took my family up there, and my uncle's face, my dad's face just turned beet red. I think it's just a generational thing too.
Yeah.
Like, not that we're going out and like doing it, but like it's something that they're now used to. I think. But it was funny that it was all people their age. Mm-hmm. Like. The DJ was just jumping up and down, just naked.
Yeah, I don't know.
And we lasted about 4 minutes in there, and we're like, "Let's get out of here."
Yeah.
It's funny, like it's just like you have to do it once.
Yeah,
you know?
For sure.
But we
there
pretty
should
much
be an age limit on that.
Oh, we went up the steps, went out the door, we walked slowly, got a beer, I think dumped it, and walked out the other door. We were gone. So it's just such a great time.
I'm gonna need some recommendations. That's I think Key West has to happen soon.
Yeah. So whenever I get married, I probably will pick that for my bachelor party.
Oh hell yeah!
I don't care how many times I'm there. The number one, I would say, is San Diego.
Yeah.
Or specifically Pacific Beach.
Mm-hmm.
I said it before, I need to be by the water.
Yeah.
I feel like in another world, I was a California guy.
Yeah.
Like growing up, I did have frosted tips this summer. Not frosted tips. I had hot guy lights, we call it. But like growing up, I had the white hair, the frosted tips, the like surfer, like Hollister mentality. And I just was like, I need to be here.
Yeah.
And I went Wednesday to Monday. And when I was there, I wasn't doing trivia, so I was fully remote, and I didn't have really anything until that next Friday. I was so close to staying and just working there. I'm nervous I would have stayed.
Yeah.
Like, I was close.
There's a reason everybody went west.
Oh my God.
Dude, I was in San Diego twice.
Yeah,
and
you know
like,
what it's like. It's
after 2 days, it's just like, oh, this is why everybody moves here. It's literally perfect every single day.
Yeah.
Like, it's beautiful. It's like 75 and sunny.
Yep.
Like, you could count on that every day. You could plan your days. Like, you don't even have to look at the forecast.
Yep.
It's just like, I mean, yeah, it's San Diego. It's everything it's cracked up to be.
one of the bars in PB, the kid went to Westchester.
Oh, really?
And he's like, "You're Kody, right?" And my buddy was like, "Are you kidding me right now?" He's like, "We're going all the way out here and someone knows you." And then, yeah, so that's PB specifically. Like it's called PB Shore Club, this one bar. And it's a dump. Like, it's not like it's anything fancy. Right on the beach. Underneath has a gift shop. I'm a huge shot glass collector. You know, I'm sure you know that. And I'm already under the bar trying to buy stuff. And then you just go up the steps, and it's like a shack, kind of a nice shack.
Yeah.
They have the bar inside. It's tables and everything. Then you go out, and it's just like picnic tables, like leveled up. So it's like stadium seating, and it's the perfect spot for a sunrise, sunset. Well, both, but I don't think the bar's open in the morning. The sunset was insane. So that's probably like one or two favorite bar there.
Yeah.
It just, and like, Cali's version of like boardwalks. It's the sidewalk. It's not like the wood and everything here.
Right.
Oh, people are skateboarding. They're playing volleyball. I'm like,
it's literally like the movies like that you would see in like the 60s.
Yep.
It's like
even like 90210, like those shows.
It's I mean, that's California too.
Yeah.
You know what stuck with me in the back of my head where I'm like, because dude, when I was there, I'm like, I was only like 20, maybe 21.
Oh yeah. Oh, when you were there,
yeah. And I was like, it would be amazing to live here. Like just like obviously everybody has those thoughts when it's like, why do I live where I live? Like, I understand like there's family ties and roots and everything, but it's like, why did we just stop in Pennsylvania? Like, we could have all been here.
Could have kept going. I almost had not an overlap, the opposite. I almost had a gap where my lease from last year was ending in May, and I was looking for June. Or wait, that was literally the next day. You know what I mean? There was a month, so I was gonna go back and do an Airbnb for the month.
Just for the month, yeah.
But again, I'm telling you, I was scared.
It would be hard to leave after a month.
Would have cried. She thinks Philly's far enough.
I know, right? Yeah, you're close with your family. Like a lot of us are.
Yeah.
One thing that stuck with me, I heard later about San Diego. It's like you got to be careful in the bars because there's a lot of MMA fighters or trainers and the Navy.
I was just gonna say.
So
I knew you were gonna say that.
You got two strong personality people there, so you got to be on your P's and Q's in the bar.
They're cool,
but everybody also is like Cali mindset. So it's like.
But I also feel like there's a lot of people that move there where they're not originally from there.
Yeah,
transplant.
It's like the most obvious place to move to in America anyway.
Yeah. It was, and then you have Tijuana on the border.
Yeah. It's only like 40 minutes, not even.
No, it was 11 minutes.
Yeah.
From my buddy's apartment. It went
maybe I was thinking from like, is it Carlsbad right there?
Yeah. I think so. It was the worst day of my entire life. I would never. Do you know Pat Hughes?
Yeah.
So Pat is who lives in San Diego. That's who I went out with, and everyone was telling me you got to go to Tijuana. You know me. I love to travel. I'm all about everything. Did you ever watch The O.C.? Remember back in the day?
I'm familiar with it. But,
I had the biggest crush on Marissa growing up, and there was the episodes where they went to TJ, and I could not wait to go to TJ.
Yeah.
It was the worst ever experience of my entire life.
What happened?
Well, we walked. A lot of people that told me to do it were close family friends, people I trust, and I know that if they like something, I would like it too. So you drive to the border and you walk across. And I'm like, wow, I'm walking into another country. That's like kind of cool. It took about 30 seconds. Like, no disrespect, but I don't think a lot of people are going into Mexico. Like, we're planning on going to Mexico.
Yeah.
We get
There's
out,
a lot less friction going that way than coming back.
and you'll soon see how that's exactly what happened. We come out, and our first mistake was we had $8 cash. He didn't have anything. I had $8 cash. So I'm like, oh no. And there's all these cabs coming up to me, cab drivers, amigo, $10. And I had $8 and they wouldn't take 8. So I was like, well, what are we going to do? We can't I just use it like, say the Empire State Building. Like if you're in New York, you're like, hey, go near the Empire State Building. That's your landmark.
Yeah.
There's like a tower they have. All we heard is that's where you got to go by. There's all shops and everything like that.
Go from there,
I could see it in the distance. So I'm not walking that. I know that. So we had no choice to take a cab. So the one guy's like, okay. And we get in this car or get in the cab. That landmark is getting farther and farther away. So I'm like, oh my gosh, what are we doing? Part of me, nothing even happened yet, but I'm still like, I'm in a different place. You've heard horror stories about Tijuana.
Yep.
And I don't know what kind of route he took, but we ended up getting where we needed to be. And I, at this moment, forgot that the $5 bill I had was almost ripped in half. I've been dreading this $5 bill for weeks, like even in Philly.
Yeah.
And I'm like, I'm such an idiot. Like I should have just gave it for a bartender. It's his tip.
Yeah.
This is where I'm about to give this $5 bill. I hand him that. He goes, no good. And we're getting out of the car. And I had my chains. It was just like this.
Yeah.
He's like, it's okay. I'll take your chain.
Oh,
I'm like, you ain't taking my chain. And Pat was up front. He gets out. I'm like, let's just get out of here. We're good. I'm like, you're good. So we get out and I'm like, oh God, I already scared.
Abort.
We got some cash out and that. And again, back to the shot glasses. I had to get my shot glasses. Those shot glasses are so fire.
It's your happy place. It calms your nerves. You get your
shop,
shot glasses.
The gift shop with all the merch and everything. And the lady was so sweet too. I'm not like what's the word where you're trying to like a bargainer. Like,
yeah, I know what you're talking about.
My Pat's like, how about 2 for $8?
Yeah.
It was like 2 for $10. I'm like, I'll pay the extra. We don't belong here.
Yeah.
Let's just let her do whatever. So, but the shot glasses were great. We did get lunch, and there was mariachi bands that just kept playing in your ear. Did you ever see the Heartbreak Kid with Ben Stiller? He was on his honeymoon. They just kept playing that, like, and they were kind of annoying. And we're just like, get out of our ear.
Yeah.
But we're walking around. I noticed to see like there is not anyone that's American. Mm-hmm. And I'm like, that thought to me in the beginning, like, I really don't see any tourists here. Do you ever remember The Hangover when they go to Bangkok? Mm-hmm. Remember how they burned the block down?
Yeah.
And they're like, they go back the next day and they're like cleaning it up. That's what every street was like.
Really?
Like there was prostitutes on every door.
Things change quick.
Yeah.
10 minutes.
And I'm walking around and I'm like, I feel, I kept going like this, like checking my stuff. I'm like, I have my shot glasses. Let's get out of here.
Mm-hmm.
Like there was guys with the cops with big guns, and we started.
Yeah, they don't play down there. All the cops in America. What's up? And like, is it even the cops? It's probably the cartel just carrying ARs everywhere they go.
And we started hearing. Well, we noticed it when we got in the cab in the beginning. A line of people, and we started hearing like things about a wait. So I'm like, well, that's not us. Like, we're American citizens. Like, we should be able to, like, I don't know if people live in Mexico, they're going to, whatever, back to the US for work or something. We get in a cab, and he's like, yeah, just 5 minutes. I'm like, all right, perfect. But as we're in the cab, I'm like, I don't think this guy's going to take us across the border in a cab.
Right.
He's probably not a citizen of the US.
It doesn't work like that.
He drops us off at the border. So that's like where it went to. There had to have been 1,500 people waiting to go across. It looped. That had a loop. And Pat went to law school out in Pittsburgh. There was a local guy wearing a Pittsburgh Steelers jacket. Pat goes, Pittsburgh. And he goes, and like, we're looking now like, wait a minute. Like, I don't feel safe right now. I want to get out of here. And he goes up. He's like, he points us to these 2 girls. Like in a boardwalk when you're on like with the shops there and you just walk in the stores in and out. That's how it was. It was like a door. Mm-hmm. And whenever they're closed, they would like obviously shut it. We go in and she didn't speak a word of English. All I heard was $30 and Eduardo. 30 per person and Eduardo. like looking at Pat. I'm like, who is Eduardo? And I give her the money, and I'm like, okay, this is a scam. It only cost me $30.
Right.
And I walk out. I don't know what she said to me. I'm like, oh my God, I got to go back in there. Then there was a guy from England that spoke Spanish and English. So he tells us we have to go to duty free. And when we go, it was like up the way of how the line was going.
Uh-huh.
And when you get to duty free, you'll find Eduardo. And she shows me a picture of Eduardo. So I'm like, all right, Pat, let's try this. We're walking. We are cutting these people. Like, it wasn't like there was other things you could have been doing. So people didn't know we were walking in front.
Right.
We go to duty free. I see 3 local kids. I'm like, none of you are Eduardo. So I'm like, oh God, we just got scammed. I turn around. There is a guy in Border Patrol outfit. Got the hat, everything. And he goes like this. I'm like, there's Eduardo. Like, there he is. Let's go. We are walking with this guy. We are cutting every person.
Are people getting pissed?
Well, they don't, so this line also was something like it was,
like
people were going through it.
Yeah.
Like they might have had a pass or something, but I thought to myself, I'm like, did I just pay for pre-check? Like what is going on here? Yeah. And we stuck out like sore thought. Like I was pale as can be. Pat's a giant.
Yep.
So we're walking, and all of a sudden he just like stops me. We're at the front. Like there might be 15 people there. And the line moved a little bit where the person took a step forward. The person behind them was on their phone, so they weren't paying attention, and it created a little bit of a separation. Eduardo went like this. So me and Pat slide in, and all of a sudden the people behind, there were some from Mexico, they were yelling at us in Spanish. People there were English. And we're like, oh, no, it's okay. We're with him. I look, Eduardo's gone. He just disappeared.
Took his $60 and bailed. Or 30.
He disappeared.
She got 30. He got 30.
like 50-50. He disappeared. So we let them like cut in front of us because there was a scene happening.
Throwing rocks.
Yeah, but then the people behind them didn't know what was going on.
Yeah.
So we were just like, look forward. I usually like to say goodbye. I was like, yeah, like let's say goodbye to Tijuana. I'm like, all business.
Yeah.
Let's get out of here.
No explore then pour.
No, oh God. I don't even care if I was required to do it. Nope. I wasn't doing it. We were in the next wave, got in the car. I said, Pat, I need a Budweiser so bad right now. I need to be back on our ground.
Something domestic and cold.
Yeah. And the one bar at PB, I had a Phillies jersey on 2 nights before. Mm. So when we walked in, he's like, the Philly boys are back. I'm like, I am home. Yeah. Like, thank God. And I put an Instagram post. San Diego, I'll see you soon. Tijuana, never again. Never. Everyone's commenting like, you did Tijuana wrong. I was like, do you have 20 minutes? I'll talk about the story because we did not do good with this.
Yeah.
And
we
Googled the worst time to go to Tijuana is on a Sunday.
Really?
And that's it. Because a lot of people live in Mexico. They go back to work for the week. So I think that's why. Because people that told me to go, they walked right back.
Yeah.
And I don't know. It was our first time. Definitely my last time. I'll tell you that.
Yeah. No.
But my dad's like, you risked your life for a freaking shot glass. So I got 2. They're pretty cool. I got 3. I got 3.
2 in a story.
Yeah. 2. Yeah. It was bad.
That's wild, man.
Yeah. So I'm not sending any clients there.
No Tijuana.
Nope.
Different parts of Mexico, maybe.
Yeah. You guys, Mexico.
Yeah. Cancun is even a little dicey right now, but
yeah.
It's funny. We were talking about it the other day. One of my buddies brought it up. They're like, yeah, like it is what it is. Like there's a certain level of risk, but you would think like stay on the resort, like should be fine.
Yeah.
Fingers crossed, knock on wood. But
yeah,
like not even looking for problems. People just like going on, like the Weather Channel app or whatever, and like you check the Cancun weather, it's like perfect 85 86 every day, sunny, and then you just get a notification like not recommended to travel to Mexico at this time. I'm like, oh good, 4 days away. But
I love the all-inclusives though. I think
I'm not worried.
No, and that's the thing too. Yeah, safety obviously, but there's just so much to do there, and I know really my bar bills. It's worth it for me.
Yeah, all inclusive is nice for sure.
Oh my God, people
just to not have to think about it. It's not even sometimes. It's not even about the money. It's just like
for sure
to not have to like be reaching in your pocket and then just walk up, tip the guy good early, and you're set for a few days. Like,
and I grew up doing them too. My family, we went. There was like 50 of us.
yeah,
My parents and all the kids would every other year we would go.
that's cool.
And then we went to Senior Week to Cabo instead of going to like Ocean City and that.
Yeah, I remember you guys going to Cabo. Actually,
Oh my God, it was the best.
That's
I
sweet.
think we were the cool kids for a little bit.
You definitely.
the
were.
grade
We weren't.
before they got evicted in like 8 hours.
Oh, dude.
And I know our group. We're not that we're troublemakers.
How much younger are you than me?
I was 2010.
Yeah, that was so.
You're 9, right?
We were there. It's funny. We were in the Casablanca in Ocean City, and we were there for maybe like 2 or 3 days before. We all, like 9 out of our 16 rooms got evicted by like the second day.
Yep.
We deserved it,
For sure.
probably, but
Look back at your
either way,
18-year-old self.
you're evicted. And no, we must have got evicted on the third day, because on the third morning, all the Abington kids showed up.
Yeah.
Because they just won the baseball state
Oh
championship.
yeah, that's right.
They were
that's
late
right.
because of that.
Yep.
And I was like, damn, that's kind of cool that you just won a state championship and now you get to go on Senior Week. Like, that's a good little run. But yeah, we all got evicted.
Yeah.
And it was like the whole like Lackawanna
Yep.
football conference, basically. It was like us, Riverside guys,
Yep.
Abington guys. There was a bunch of us.
Bro, that's
and, like,
how-
we all got kicked out.
But like, I would say at that
Slept on the beach one night. We didn't have anywhere to go. We're like looking for hotels and stuff. There's nowhere to
Yeah.
like
Oh, yeah.
day of.
especially
Senior
that
Week,
time
like
of
you're
year
not
too.
getting anything. So like we're crashing at kids' houses in Dunmore. There's like 8 of us in one room. Like
Yep.
we're literally like climbing the ladder on the back of the hotel, sneaking into other people's rooms, like the 5 that didn't get evicted.
Yep.
Because it was a nightmare, but it was so fun. I don't give a
Exactly.
shit.
And
Senior
I
Week,
actually
don't
went
care.
the next year when I was like a freshman in college, which I did not belong. We all
You
went.
did a
like, on
victory
our own.
lap there too.
I'm full of victory laps. But like even that time of year, that was before going into college. Like that's how I got to meet like Kelly and all them was the dream game.
Oh yeah.
So like that time of year, even I know our friends that didn't go away with us to Cabo, eventually it did work out for them. They had a great time,
Mm-hmm.
but I don't want to take that chance. And we were 18 years old, 4 guys, 3 girls, and even it was nice that their parents, we were so close that they trusted them with us
Yeah.
and everything. But that time of year too, like I would have only went down to, I'm sure I would have, like you said, ran into the other schools and that, but that dream game then had, like I knew my fair share of people at Abington. I was class president. Our group of friends, we had a great group of friends, but then, it didn't happen until that dream game where now I'm knowing every high school in our area now.
I feel like the dream game is really cool in that regard, because like it does open up so many doors for so many people. Because like up until the dream game, like you just view everybody, because like you're brainwashed with this mindset where it's just like
I
they're
hate
the
you.
enemy. Yeah,
Yes,
like
exactly.
those guys are douchebags or this or that. Like you think everybody from every other school is a douchebag, and like we're all the same. Like
Exactly.
we live within 5 miles of each other. Like we
Somewhere
can't
on
be
like
that,
the same street.
can't be
Sometimes
that
schools.
different. Yeah, and yeah, like so many connections, like friends of friends. Like I've met
Yep.
so many people secondhand
Absolutely.
from people who played in the dream game.
Yep.
It's cool.
I officiated Mike Dranchak's wedding.
Yeah.
I was in his wedding, but
Yeah.
I was his officiant.
Yeah.
And we met because we were both the only fullback and linebacker on the team, and it just clicked.
Yeah.
Tony Peregrine, I was in Tony's wedding.
Yeah.
I'm still friends with, Dennis, and Joey Seclari's wedding just happened. It's such a cool thing that I think only people in our area
Yeah.
could appreciate and relate to.
And it's
it.
like perfect timing too, because like you let like some of the shit I just mentioned, like the stupid thoughts that we have
Yeah.
in our head, like enough time passes after the football season where it's like, all right, I'm graduated. It doesn't even matter anymore.
Yep.
So it's like there's no guard up at
Yep.
all when you're going into
Nope.
it. It's just like, let's just be boys with these guys.
And of course, I was the one that hosted the after party.
Yeah, I figured that
We
much.
lost so bad. I don't think we practiced. Like all we cared about, like the girlfriends of the guys were like bringing us food after practice. We
Yeah.
had such a camaraderie
Yeah.
that the city team actually showed up to my house.
Oh, really?
Because they had no party.
Really?
We're like, get the hell out of here.
No shit.
We say, I've had cousins and younger friends that have been on the county. Or are you guys still county?
I don't.
They changed
They
it.
switched it. Yeah.
But we started F the city.
Yeah.
And we were like, do the thing. Apparently, it's still going on.
Really?
Yeah, and they changed the team, so I'm not sure what it is. But those kids came. I met Mike 2 weeks prior to this when we were at this party.
Yeah.
And we're going up to these kids like, no, you got to leave. Like, and eventually, I got to meet them too in that. But
Yeah.
it's so
In the
funny how
moment.
we lost 35-7. And
Would have been different if you won. You might have let them in. Like, all
maybe,
right,
yeah.
guys,
All right,
come
we
on.
feel bad. You lost and you don't have a party. Then
Yeah.
come in. I remember my buddy got hurt on the field and he was getting carried out. He's like, just get me to Kody. He's like, we were so bad, we didn't even care.
Yeah.
He's like, and we were up like Cube was on the
Yeah.
team. So it was just such a cool thing, and I'm as 570, just like you. Like we rep it, even though I'm not there. I have my tattoo, my 570 tat.
Yeah, buddy.
I can see it.
Here it is.
Oh God, the girl, I got it done.
How long ago did you get that?
So she goes, yeah, come back in 6 months. It'll fade. We'll touch it up for free. I'm like, sweetie, I already regret this. Like, I am not coming back. I got this 11 years ago.
Holy shit. Let me see it. I couldn't see it when you did it. Yeah, that still looks like.
Like, that 5 has been thin since day one.
You're gonna
the 7, I'll be.
You're going to have to start hitting the long cut skull or something like.
The Zins.
Yeah, Zins, something.
The
tear that shit up.
The actual long cut would help it, I think, more. But it's. I mean, you would never know it's there. Like, sitting here a whole night, you would never know.
It's a cool little
and
party
it's funny
trick.
when I told my parents, I played in a church. My dad was our coach growing up for a church league. It was called OLS, Our Lady of the Snows. And actually, coming down like these roads, I remember playing as a kid. If you look at 570 upside down, it kind of looks like OLS.
Oh yeah.
So I was
Big
had a few beers at Westchester, and they came down. I think Westchester played Bloomsburg when Tony played for the football, so he stayed. We had all my friends from school. We had a big weekend, and I was like, I thought I said, should I tell them? But I was like, should I tell them? They're like, tell me what? And I was like, well, I'm screwed anyway. So I like show it, and my dad's like, why the hell would he get OLS on his lip? Like, just looking at it weird. But now at weddings, like my mom would be like, Kody, come show table 6 your lip. Like it's like like you said, party trick.
It's there now. You might as well embrace it.
And I got it because obviously like our ties to this area, especially that time and the friendships and relationships we have.
Yeah.
But even at Westchester, you could have been a different fraternity. You could have been in a different grade, a different school. You're from 570. And I would say I was one of the more well-known people at that time from Scranton.
Yeah, you did.
So it was the go-to, the go-to of it. But hopefully it'll go away soon.
It's like the patch. It's just like, bro, we're good. You're good.
Yeah,
it's fun, man. It's cool seeing that evolution because like you were saying, like coming out of high school, like you have all these walls built up towards certain people and however many years now, whatever.
Yeah, okay,
like,
don't say that out
not
loud.
to be like talking about high school, but it's cool to see like how many friendships come after the fact.
For sure.
From all different directions. It's neat.
We have I have a bachelor friend. Like,
oh,
so,
right. Yeah. It's insane. Well, cool, man. This was fun. I'm pumped you made it up, and thanks again for coming up, man. You are a legend, and I've said you and Pryle are the two people go to more weddings than anybody I could ever imagine, because you're like the most likable dude ever. You got friends all over the place, and I'm glad you pivoted it into a business as well, because you should get compensated for all these things that you're good at, and onward and upward from here, man. I think big stuff in the future for you.
Yeah, Secchio in Italian is slang for bucket list.
Oh, really?
That's how the name came about. So I always, in a cheesy way, like, if your bucket list is go to a bachelor watch party, your bucket list is to do a tailgate or go to a trip. Hopefully I'm the guy to do it.
Yeah. You're
I want everyone. My goal is I want everyone in this world to know what Secchio Experiences is, who I am, everything. That's the goal.
You're the go-to guy. I'd put any trip in your hands.
Appreciate it.
And I think because like I actually I know we're kind of wrapping here, but I put up a post last night, or I forget if it was last night or 2 nights ago, but like talking about how like locals only used to kind of, or not used to, still does, like kind of used to be like exclusionary in terms of like only the locals know about these spots or this or that or another thing. And then like obviously the way I'm using it for the business is more inclusionary instead of exclusionary, where it's like these are the spots that you want to hit, like you trying to share those instead of keep them a secret. But like in terms of like knowing the places to go for like bachelor parties and bachelorette parties, like everybody kind of has that friend. It's like, hey, like shoot me. Like, do you have like a rough itinerary of like that trip you did last year?
A free,
you have that for everywhere.
Yeah.
So it's just like, hey, at this point,
a free
you just playing
consultant.
the damn thing for me, and yeah, we'll pay you for it. So yeah, man, I'm proud to see like how much progress you've made with everything, because like we've kind of chatted about things either before you did it or in the early stages, and like even now just like on stupid stuff like where you're like, I want to get a better camera, and like you're constantly trying to evolve your business, and it's really cool to see, and you got a ton of steam behind it, so good on you, man. And
that's the scary thing is everything I do people could do on their own.
Yeah.
You know, and I have to stay fresh. I got to stay, get creative with everything, and it's tough.
Yeah.
It's a blessing and a curse. You said it with biz. It's working for yourself is amazing, but it's also the worst thing ever.
Yeah.
It
beats sitting in a cubicle, but you are always on.
Yep.
Yeah.
Have to be, right?
Yeah. Yeah. But it's good stuff, man. I'm sure these last 2 weeks for your Bachelor Watch Parties are going to be pure chaos. So I'm excited to see what comes out of that for you too. And maybe we'll get the inside scoop offline. No, I'm just playing.
Well, that'll be the recap too. We can finally talk about everything.
Yeah, I know.
And maybe who knows? Maybe I'll get that call for Survivor.
Something's coming. Something's coming. I feel it. I feel it in the universe, Code. I feel it coming for you. You gotta have your boy put in a good word with some of the execs there.
It's funny because the one guy was like, some of your tapes, I'll look at it. I'm like, I'm going on a show to like survive. You have these people like, oh, I want to fall in love. I'm like, yeah, you've looked at tapes, different. But are you really gonna give me some insight here?
Yeah,
we'll see what happens.
Different game tape there.
Yeah, definitely.
Cool. Well, thanks again, buddy. I appreciate you coming up.
I'm so glad I came.
And definitely, we'll run this one back for sure sometime.
Definitely.
Cool.
Thanks, buddy. Appreciate it.
All right. As a closing tradition on this podcast, I forgot already a couple times, but I want to ask, what's your favorite local spot? And being that you're a hometown guy and also in Philly now, full or permanently, we'll give you two. We'll give you two.
Philly is pretty easy. It's Urban Saloon.
Gotta be urban, right?
I mean, for the 3 years I've lived in Philly, specifically Fairmount, it's basically been across the street. So starting there as a drunk patron to now hosting big events there, I would say the food, the vibe, everything is great. Local here, it's crazy that when you're traveling so much, you do compare to the food that you grow up with, and there is just food specifically. There's so many great spots here. I will say there's two, and it's mainly because of the people too. It's family and friends. First off, I would say anywhere that sells Middlesworth barbecue chips is my favorite. If you've never had them, I mean, obviously everyone has.
You're missing out.
I do like going to the Knicks in Clark Summit. The Knicks is family friends with us. I do work there, do their trivias as well. And it's nice, not only coming back home with the seeing everyone in the area, it's nice seeing everyone, especially from Clark Summit where I'm from too.
Yeah. The Knicks is a great spot. Yeah. I like their burgers and everything is so good. Their food is good. It's a really cool atmosphere in there. And like we were just there for your trivia a couple of weeks ago. I had no idea there was even an upstairs. Right. And like the upstairs is as cool as the downstairs. Yep. It's cool. So yeah, even if there's some overflow on a busy night there, I'm sure they use the upstairs or for events or whatever. Definitely check it out. Good spot in Clark Summit, right on State Street.
And I do like Haggerty's in Westside.
Haggerty's
is my go-to. If I timing-wise had a little bit of more time today, but who I was going with, if we make that work, we would have been at Haggerty's today, 100%.
Yeah.
My family works there. Colleen and Michael, Annie, they're my cousins. They're the reason I keep coming back. They're the reason everyone comes back. There's great employees. Their food is great. The vibe is great. It's not right downtown, obviously, but you could go there just having dinner and end up spending your whole night there.
Yeah.
Which is what I like.
It's the best kind of spot. Yeah. where you don't know where the night's gonna take
Yeah.
you. You like the little
Oh,
unpredictability
absolutely.
of it all. Yeah.
My life is an itinerary, I feel like, but it's nice. Spontaneous stuff is nice too.
Yeah, for sure. Haggerty's is a great spot
Yeah.
too. Yeah, good calls there. Cool, man. Yeah, we're. I would love to like somehow pivot this in the future where it's like more than just a podcast and like maybe either like bring food in and like get people to try it.
That's a good idea.
Or start doing a little something different. So yeah, get the wheel spinning there. But yeah, we'll have to get some of that good stuff from Haggerty's or the Knicks in here.
Definitely.
Cool. All right, man.
Perfect.
Thanks, Cole.